No peace. Got the no peace. Get no peace. Got the no peace. Get no peace. Got the no peace.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Presser Podcast. I'm your host, Drea, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host, Paige. Say hey, girl.
Hey.
And we're also joined today with the talented, the Dallas native, Jayson Lyric.
What up, what up?
Hey. And
What's
just
good?
let everybody know how they can stay in touch with you, how they can keep up with what you're doing.
We're going to start off with that one.
We're
Let's
going to
see.
get started off.
At Jayson Lyric, JaysonLyric. That's on everything. So TikTok, etc., YouTube. It's hard to forget. My ad doesn't change. So
Already, you heard him. Follow him on all his socials, website. We're the same way, Presser Podcast across the board. So join our online community. You can join our email newsletter at www.presserpodcast.com. Follow us on social, Presser Podcast, TikTok, Instagram. Don't want to miss out on any blogs, events that we're having this year. We have a lot coming for you. Well, hello, guys.
Hey.
How's everybody doing?
doing wonderful. Shout out to Sis for making us some drinks. Getting us in the mood.
Got a good old tequila with friends and pineapple and lime.
Making us friendly for the day.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to jump right in.
Okay.
I don't know if y'all seen this show. You probably haven't seen Being Mary Jane. It's a BET show, but she writes like these positive affirmations on sticky notes and put it in her mirror every day. And I feel like I'm getting really corny to where it's not corny, but a lot of people look at it as corny.
Okay.
But I need a lot of positive self-talk these days because I'm trying to change my mindset. When you're trying to grow up, you're trying to, change your thoughts and the boxes you've been placed in on your life. You got to change the way you subconsciously think of yourself. And so with speaking affirmations into myself every day, another part of my daily routine is creating a playlist or listening to a playlist that speaks life to me in the morning to kind of start my day. And I'm going to say for my 7 a.m. playlist, your song Self-Love is number 1 on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not joking. I'm not trying to hype you. I really like the song.
thank you.
And when I listened to it, it was so powerful. Like it really spoke to me. It really touched me. And it's like it really makes you love yourself. How corny is that? Just simple.
What's some of the lyrics? What's the lyric that catches?
I don't have to say nothing. They already know how I'm coming.
Real talk.
I'm
real
me.
talk.
What you mean?
Facts.
I know he got some lyrics. Like, let me know what inspired you to write that song.
Right. To make the backstory a little simple, I was working on an R&B project EP called Out of Body Experience.
Okay.
And one of my creative directors at the time, she was like, hey, one of the records should be a lady self-pleasing themselves. Right? And it was a little too explicit. So I was like, how could we...
I was just about to say, like, what you mean by that?
Right, self-pleasing, I don't know, however you want me to say that, the best way I
In
can
all
put it.
aspects.
But I was like, okay, how could I give this more meaning? Because as a songwriter, double meaning is big for me. I like to write in double meanings. So I was like, okay, not just self-loving, like, self-loving on themselves, but actually doing some type of self-care or some type of mental practice to get self-love going in that way. And man, so with that idea, I was listening to Jasmine Sullivan Hotel at the time.
That's my girl.
So she kind of influenced the sound as far as like the acoustic guitar. And I was like, man, I need a record like that. I need...
hear that now.
Yes. If you is it the one with her? It might have been the one with her. Kind of Girl, something like that. I'm sure y'all familiar with Jasmine Sullivan.
I am.
So yeah, so sonically wise, that's where it came, the influence on that end. And then writing, I was like, okay, self-love, let's make it a double meaning. Not only physical, but mentally. And reached out to Neveah. She was perfect for it. I had already written out most of the lyrics for it, and we came together and we made a hit record. And it just so happened, like being in a time of the pandemic where, everybody's in the house, everybody's like struggling with what's next, trying to figure out like, dang, are we gonna even make it out of this? And so I think timing played a big part of self-love blowing up, and then just realizing a lot of people are dealing with loving themselves. Like a lot of people are struggling with how to love themselves, or you know what I'm saying.
I feel like we're not really taught that. We're not really taught specifically or how to purposely love ourselves. You're
Right.
told love yourself, but
Right.
how do you do that? How do you really set that up and feel that way?
Right. Or we taught to do it in different forms, like go buy something nice.
It's always
Or,
materialistic.
you know what I mean? Or
yeah.
let's go out to eat. You know what I mean? Food is a lot of self-love for people, but it's like, it's other ways. You know what I mean? It could be like sitting with yourself and just being in your thoughts, writing down your goals, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Working out.
And it's funny you say that you wrote the song during the pandemic, because that's when I feel like a lot of people had to sit with themselves because you can't be outside. So
Include
now you
myself.
can't- Myself included,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. Like that's when I started to really say, I got to speak better to myself. I have to actually focus and kind of build that. Who am I? What do I stand for? And what do I like about myself? You just can't say I like myself. What do you really like about yourself, and what do you stand for?
It was less distraction.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Yeah, mentality is the number one thing, you know what I mean? How you wake up, how you feel, like, you know what I'm saying? There's so many times people just try to pull me out of character. And I don't let it happen. Because I'm a continue a positive attitude that day. And for me, that's a form of self-love, not letting anybody like control my emotions.
Exactly. Like I feel like a lot of people feel powerful when they can pull you out of your positivity.
A lot of people do it on purpose.
People can see that you're leveling up, and they're saying, okay, you're moving too fast. Let me see if I can bring you back down real quick. And I think it's very important that we know where we're trying to go, who we're trying to be, and to not let the people who are only, what's the word? They only relate to our past selves. You know what I mean? Like, I love my past self, RIP to her. She's not here, but you're never going to pull me back there. Right. In a sense.
And we're forever growing, you know what I'm saying? But one of my mottos right now is the new me is grateful for the old me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I like that.
I wouldn't be
I'm about to take
who I am right now. Go and tweet that if you want to.
I am.
I wouldn't be who I am without the old self, without the old Jayson. And, but again, people will look at you and be like, that's Jayson from 10 years ago. We can still treat him this way, or we can underpay him this way, or whatever the case may be.
Surprise.
But now, like, things change, so.
And speaking of that, it's always about balance. And I love to say that my old self, when I say RIP, she's always there, but she's behind me. So don't ever think that you can play me in a way to where I can't use the knowledge I pulled when I was in that space and the knowledge I gained today. And speaking of balance, I feel like music in our culture of Black music today, do you guys feel like there's an imbalance of purposeful music? I feel like a lot of things, if you Coach Stormy term, low vibrational.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of music sits at that level. Why do you think there's not a lot of hit records out like Self-Love that's actually feeding our soul, feeding our mind, and kind of helping us move outside of that that mindset of things that we kind of need to move past?
Right. I consider myself a part of the few. You know what I mean? The few, when I mean like people that are aware, self-aware of who they are. They're not following trends, or they're not looking for what's popular and just hopping on that. That's how I operate. And in today's society, majority rules. Like that, it sounds cliche, but that's what it is. If the most people are talking about, I don't know, toxic things, then that's what we're gonna see. And from all these different businesses, they know that's what's feeding them, that's what's making money, so it's gonna continue. But again, I am an example of it's still possible to have, purposeful music that can go viral. Because, when you look around, everything is kind of like toxic right now, right? But I had a song called Self-Love that like did what it did. So hopefully I'll have people that's inspired by that and come behind me.
I hope so.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
really hope so, because I feel like we need to move past, not even move past, because let me just say, I love a good catchy tune.
Yeah.
And, Future sometimes does it for me,
For sure.
He puts, it's the tune
Serves his
for
purpose
it.
sometimes.
But I feel like there needs to be a good balance. I should be able to turn on the radio and hear something positive like Self-Love, and then hear Real Sisters,
Right. Sometimes I want fast food, and then I want to go sit down. I want to go to get some organic groceries or something. You know what I mean? So life is about balance, and I think that's just with everything. So I listen to Future too. Group is one of my favorite songs. So
It's
my
balance,
jam.
right?
Yeah,
You
for
got to
sure.
feed that shadow self of yours. It's healing, not healed, guys. Like, I'm not all the way there. I still like Future. I watch Baddies West on Sundays.
Yeah.
Balance.
Understood.
But, okay, so I was on your website doing a little homework, and I saw your mantra of, brick by brick, we believe in the power of being yourself. And nothing will last without building a solid foundation. And 2 words came to mind when I read that: authenticity and self-concept.
Okay.
So my question is, do you think authenticity makes being successful more difficult or easier to attain as an artist?
For sure difficult. But if it's meant to be, it will happen. And I'd rather win on my own terms than like stealing somebody else's blueprint or somebody else's playbook. So I don't mind taking the long route or the harder route. But it's definitely more difficult because as a business, you gotta like, okay, what sells, right? So, but as an artist, you like, they don't know what they want. Let me feed them this. So I still struggle with that to this day, but it's about balance again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I definitely feel like we live in a time of clout. And like you said earlier, like what's popular and even business, what's making sales, that's what people usually lean to.
Right.
But I feel like there just needs to be more real people, people being themselves, people just not saying, let me package up what's popular and just reiterating it in different forms.
You got to spoon feed them. I look at it as like trying to give a baby medicine. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't take pills for the longest as a kid. So my mom used to put it in my yogurt. You know what I mean? And I took it, I ate it. So it's finding that way of how to deliver a message, you know what I'm saying? But in a sweeter way, I guess.
I feel like it's pulling the poison out of us slowly. It's needed. Do y'all think it's hard to be authentic today? With the whole, I feel like it gets lonely the more authentic you are. Because when you're not like the crowd, you're outside of the crowd.
You have to find your tribe.
That's true.
There's an audience for everything.
I believe in that as well.
Like you say, find your tribe. Find your tribe.
Can you guys recognize when someone's not being authentic or being fake?
It's called discernment.
There we go. That's the word I was hoping somebody said.
I talk about it all the time. A spirit of discernment is it's like a superpower. And some people have it more than others, but everybody has it, And I'm with that with my sister. I think I have a high power of spirit of discernment. And I'm 9 times out of 10, I'll tell a joke, but never a lie. And, it's just a lot of situations that happen that I can read people. I'll just say that off top. I know energy. I know the way they look, how they feel, just certain things. And I'm 9 times out of 10 right. I've been right for like 4 years straight on a couple of stuff. That's good. Drea.
Was that a read to me?
Yes.
That's a good skill to have.
It is. And I feel like even outside of discernment, because again, it's like you just hear a ring, your body feels uncomfortable when you just start talking to somebody or interacting with them, and it just doesn't seem genuine. Outside of that, I feel like I recognize patterns. Like, I'm a very analytical person. That's my 9 to 5. I'm looking at numbers all day. So I'm looking at the patterns all the time. And I feel like that's how I can look at, yesterday you said this, today you're doing that, yesterday you are doing this. It don't make sense. I feel like you're just moving with whoever you can get something from
Probably
today.
tough to date then.
I got a man now, but I'm not an easy cookie. I would definitely say that because guys cannot run game on me.
Running them through the ring over
I'm
there.
running them, cleaning up, washing them up. Shout out to Bay. He's doing great though.
Shout out to him.
Good.
Okay, so another thing we talk about, nothing will last without a solid foundation, building your self-concept, really being rooted in who you are. I feel like that's the biggest part of being authentic. You can't be authentic when you don't know who you are.
Thanks.
What are some ways that y'all have, or when and how did you guys figure out who you were, what your values were, how you're going to show up in the world, what you're going to say no to? Have you ever been in situations to where you had to turn things down because they just didn't align with who you're trying to be?
You first?
It's been a lot. I'll start with certain things that when I became a mom, It was just certain stuff that I just didn't align with. I could not do. I didn't agree with. Even some stuff that I wanted to do. But it's just the bigger picture and knowing me and thinking about my future self. It's like I can't do that. But yeah.
For me, I think it came with age. It came with trial. It came with taking L's. Whether it was working different jobs, and I'm like, okay, I'm not good with authority, so I don't like people telling me what to do. Or just knowing my value, and I'm waking up at 6 a.m. to go do this, but I got a passion for something else. That's telling me, like, in my soul, I cannot be here. I got to do something else. I think it just comes with getting out there and exploring, like, the world. Like, you won't know until you try.
Absolutely.
Following your feelings.
Yeah.
Following what you believe.
Trusting your gut, for sure.
Stepping outside the box that people put you in. And I think that was something that kind of helped me kind of figure out. I think I looked at the situations I found myself in. And it was like, this is not the person I, thought that I would become. Like, this situation is something that I would never see myself in. And I think that's when I really started to kind of like, what do I stand for? Because why am I here? Why am I dealing with this person? Or why am I put in this circumstance? And it's because you're just moving based off the labels you were given. And sometimes it's your parents, sometimes it's your friends, sometimes it's your environment. And I feel like I had to kind of disregard the labels that I was given and define my own labels. And not to, disregard anyone's experience with me or anything that they may have found that I've done to them, but you don't get to determine who I am from an experience. And I think I don't like where I'm at right now, so let me figure out who I am. And I think that came with, like I said, speaking those affirmations, listening, feeding my mind, and kind of reading and actively trying to be the person I say I want to be in an everyday basis.
Last thing she touched on too, when you have a kid, it definitely will teach you a lot about yourself.
It is. I feel like your kid's your mirror almost.
Yeah, and you can't fake it in front of them kids.
At all.
They're going to point it out, whatever it is. But my daughter taught me how to love, one thing, and she also taught me that I wasn't loving the girls I was with enough because I didn't love them like I love her. And there's certain things, she could be up underneath me, and I'm okay with it, but like I wasn't affectionate to others. So again, them kids, they'll grow you up fast.
Lord, I don't know if I'm ready, Lord. God bless y'all.
You ready. Everyone's ready.
Auntie Dre be dropping that baby off. Like, you done? I'm about to go take her home. So to jump back into self-love, again, I mentioned how I feel like, we are told that we should love ourselves, but we may not know exactly how to do so. What does self-love mean to you? Like, when you hear that term, what does that even mean? I know we said it's materialistic. A lot of people go to the spa. I tell myself every day I deserve to buy something. So is that self-love or self-sabotage? We don't know.
Self-love to me means more than, of course, materialistic, but it means like feeding your mind, body, and soul. And sometimes that's not just getting your hair done and your nails done. That's just outer, exterior things. So self-love to me is just sitting within yourself, knowing who you are, what you like, what you want to become, what you see your future as, what your past is, and just resonating with all of that. And coming into a space to where you're actually comfortable with yourself because of your past and what you want to do in your future. That's kind of what self-love is to me. I don't think it's not materialistic at all. Like, that stuff, to me, getting your nails, hair done, going to the spa, going on trips, that is an add-on to self-love. But to me, that is not self-love.
Accepting yourself fully. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that wholeheartedly. I think it is doing everything that benefits your well-being in the end, because that's where I found myself. It's like, I was a heavy people pleaser, vulnerable moment. And you find yourself just trying to please this person, just to fit in, to be accepted into crowds or whatever is around you. And then you find out, how am I pleasing myself? Like, I'm crossing my own boundaries, trying to make sure everybody's good, and no one's making sure I'm good because I'm there to only be a supporting character instead of the main character. So do you think this generation lacks self-care for themselves, or?
I wouldn't just put it on the generation.
Not just period,
Yeah,
people.
like in general, the world lacks, shoot, even on a deeper scale, what's reality.
Oh yes. Let's talk about
No self-awareness.
Yeah, and it's just everybody's comparing their success to others, or you know what I mean. It's everything is like, what does it look like? But I mean, even to go back to what does it look like for me, it's just about being in love, how I show up. You know what I mean? Just not giving a fuck what people think. Like walking in the rooms with like the total confidence, like I am who I am, and if you accept it, you do, and if you don't, cool. But yeah, we have a world problem.
Yeah, I think it's a world. All different generations, all different cultures. I think overall it's a lot of herd mentality. You know, it's kind of like people are fed information, told how to live, told what to be, and they're not really sitting in their reality. They're sitting in, like you said, the world's reality, and everybody's not moving in that way.
It's real life Matrix for sure.
Oh yes.
Uncomfortable.
Unplug here and there. You have to.
I need a social media break soon.
Yeah.
Really?
I do, because I'm on a journey to be a UGC content creator.
Okay.
And so I think I'm over consuming content to where it's breaking down my creative process. I can't create anymore because I'm seeing so many trends. I'm seeing so many videos from other
You're in
people that
overload.
I can't even think about what I want to do because I'm just seeing what is popular right now. And when I did it just, naturally, and I wasn't really on TikTok, I was just creating my own stuff. I was pushing out content maybe 2-3 times a week. And now it kind of slowed me down. And I think it is important to unplug, because you can fall into that matrix of what you're supposed to be rather than who you are and what you're trying to do.
Because we all see what's working, right?
Yeah.
With the reels, how many seconds, sound bites.
Everybody's a coach.
And like, I just don't feel right doing the same thing. You know what I mean? Whether it works or not.
Right.
So I feel you. I feel you.
Most definitely.
I think that's what's kind of like I'm over processing things. I'm just like, I mean, I get it. They're saying that this is what you got to do to make it work, but that's not what I want to do. So it's just like, for me, I come into that zone to where I'm like, well, F it then. I'm throwing the phone. I ain't making content this week, because like, that's not what I want to do.
Right.
So I want to play a little game.
Okay. What?
It's called self-love versus self-sabotage. Is this self-love or are you self-sabotaging?
You made that one up now.
I did make it up. I'm going to make some cards, guys. This is why I said subscribe online, because you never know. We might have a new game for y'all to buy for your next party, your next girls' night, next bay night. I don't know. Okay, so the first question is this self-love or is this self-sabotaging? Calling out of work to sleep in.
Oh, that's self-love.
That's self-love.
I say it's self-love.
Yeah. Because them jobs will kill you, man. Them jobs will kill you. So take whatever break you need.
Absolutely. I think everyone here is burnt out. In corporate, even if you're not in corporate, just anything that you're doing, if you're doing too much of it and you're not taking those mental health days to just do nothing, I feel like a lot of people may not know how to rest. And resting is part of self-love. Like this hustle culture that everybody has going, I respect it. I hustle my ass off, but you have to find those days to rest and to recenter yourself.
I agree.
You can't hustle if you're sick. You can't hustle if you ain't here. So,
Okay, self-love. I'm glad we all agree on that one.
For sure.
Okay, my next question would be, or next scenario is, you've decided to have a dry month, which you're not drinking, but it's your good friend's birthday. And you decide to give in for the night to make sure they feel celebrated, because they always show up for you and they show out every single time.
You want that one?
so you take the shot.
Hey, you say you're not drinking these 30 days, but it's your friend's birthday. You said, I'm going to give it up for the night.
It's self-sabotage because you say you're doing it for them. Now, if you need to drink for that one night, then that's love.
Yeah, you ain't following your commitment. You're just doing it for others. So
Yeah, and we talked about not pleasing everybody.
There we go, because people pleaser Dre will be, hey, pass me the bottle sometimes.
I'm done. Yeah, that's self-sabotage.
Okay, the next one is, Okay, you decide to have a Friday night in because you have an early day tomorrow. Your good friend hits you up and invites you to a gathering they're hosting. Your friend always shows up for you, and you decide to show up for them. I feel like this is kind of the same scenario.
Yeah, I agree. Same scenario. I'm not showing up.
Right. It's a last minute invite. I'm sorry. I'm one of those people. I'm not as spontaneous anymore. I need it on my calendar or else it's just not happening.
Sabotage.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad we're on the same page with what self-love and self-sabotage is.
For sure.
I don't know if you guys struggle with that, but I struggle with calling everything self-love when I first kind of was focused on that journey. Yeah. I called everything self-love. I'm not coming because it's self-love. I'm not doing this because... And you end up, it's self-sabotage.
Look, if I got to choose, I'm going to choose me.
Hello. Do y'all hear him?
Say it again for the people in the back.
If I got to choose, I'm going to choose me.
Yep.
Every single time.
Every single time.
And I will say, I now look at my self-love era as my villain era almost.
Okay.
Because I think what comes with self-love is, being yourself. Accepting yourself, like you said. And in order to be yourself and kind of live outside the boxes and responsibilities that everybody may project or place on you, you got to have what? Boundaries.
Yeah.
And everybody don't respond, positively to those boundaries. And I found that sometimes you can become the villain with boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have you guys ever been in a situation to where you just simply said no?
All the time.
And you were Dallas' most hated? I don't know. Whatever city you're from.
Anytime somebody want to borrow money,
That's
that no is a self-love. And you probably should tell them no because I'm.
So yeah, for me, the more inward my focus became, and I feel like my self-love journey, I made like a kill list. And it was all the areas of my life that I needed to focus more on, the things that I had to do to get organized. And I really was on tunnel vision. So I had to say no or learn to say no more. And the more I said no, the more I got attacked.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that no one prepares you for when you are trying to go on to that healing journey. You're trying to grow. You're trying to love yourself more. And that requires a lot of intentional effort that sometimes you will be painted as a villain.
It's okay.
Right, because for me, that says more about them.
Absolutely.
If they can't respect your wishes or your boundaries, it says a lot about them. You know what I mean? Maybe you should create boundaries, and one of them should be not depending on other people.
There we go. I think a lot of people.
Hello.
A lot of people depend on getting validated by others, and so they expect everybody else to have that same expectation. When I'm trying to learn to validate myself, I don't need to. It feels good to have love around you, but love doesn't mean I have to move in the way that you want me to move. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we spoke about self-love.
For sure.
We spoke about the boundaries. We spoke about being authentic. Anything we're missing around this journey?
I think those are the main key factors to start. Right. Yeah.
Okay, well.
No self-sabotaging, implement self-love, implement self-care.
Right.
Absolutely.
I think maybe tips, create a routine, you know what I mean? A self-care routine, whether you do weekly, bi-weekly, whatever it is, and just find out things that actually, bring you peace.
Finding time for yourself to check in, set goals for yourself. And I feel like the biggest or the easiest way to love yourself is to make a promise to yourself and keep it.
And ask yourself this, what does peace look like to you? And then work towards that. You have to start with that question.
Everything that feels good ain't good. So.
Hello.
And don't think that boring is not peaceful.
I heard that.
I think I said it backwards. When I feel like the more at peace I became, I kind of struggle with, I'm bored, but you're not bored, you're at peace. There's no chaos going on.
I heard that when people say once you get in a space of peace, it feels like it's boring, but it's really not. It's just you're at a peaceful state. You're just sitting within yourself. Yeah.
Okay, well,
we're
loving ourselves. We're hoping that you guys are loving yourselves. And again, subscribe to our email newsletter where we'll be sharing resources and tips to better love yourself, to teach self-love to yourself and your kids and your family. Jayson, again, we love your song, Self-Love. It's going to stay number one on my playlist that I will be sharing with the audience as well so they can get in the mood that I'm in the morning.
That's love.
So what other music can we look forward to hearing from you?
Man, I got so much music that's out already. But if you want to stay in that lane, records like No Edits, records like On Top, they're all motivational records that could go along with that playlist. And if we're talking future music, Brick 5 is on the way this summer. It's going to be a little more energetic and shit talk than self-love.
See, I like the balance though. I'm outside in the summer. The sun does
But,
something to me.
you know what I mean? It's still a form of self-love because
Right.
the summer about to be lit.
Hello.
Real.
I'm here for it. Well, you heard the guys. He told us where you can follow him. So join him online as well. Join us and stay in tune for next week.
Peace.
Real.